This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Hello and welcome to the iRacing Esports Network and the BSR MX5 Pro Series presented by Apex Racing TV. We're just getting up for race 1 out of 4 today. My name is Sam Fitzpatrick and alongside me this evening is Tyler Maxson. Jason Cooper is on pole position for this race 1. He was fastest in qualifying. Then it's Nick McKern, Ashley Beard, Matthew Emery, Steve Hefford, Niles Carstensen, Ben Mears, Kip Stevens, Adam McNally and Jamie Ayres rounding up the top 10. You can see we are here at Zolder this evening. It is the alternate layout for anyone who's not fully aware. That is the last chicane. It's a bit different. It's a little bit more kind of straight liney and it's a bit faster. Potentially a few incidents could occur around this place. Quite a narrow circuit here in Belgium. And just waiting for the final few drivers to get on the grid. Of course, like I said earlier on, 4 races today, each one 15 minutes. I'm hoping that you'll stick with us throughout because we should be in for a day of action-packed racing. We'll mention the championship later on. It's still looking rather close in both the Pro and the AM. But for now, we're going to pay our attentions to race 1 because it's Jason Cooper who's on the pole position. Nick McKern alongside him. Race 1 at Zolder is underway.
Jason Cooper gets off to an amazing start there. He's not going to get jumped by Nick McCarron, but you can just see how many cars there are here. This track really struggling a little bit there. It's so many cars on one tight little circuit. As there we go, Steve Hefford goes around, and that's a few drivers around. I don't know quite who that was. That's a few drivers backwards. But Craig Cameron, it looks to be backwards possibly. There's a few drivers around, and that is also, there's a lot of drivers out here on lap number 1.
Yeah, quite a few, and a few of the front runners as well. So big change up. I think the leader out of the AM drivers as well was also got caught up in that one. I think Matthew Emery with a very poor start. Leader out of those drivers, but yeah, he drops way down the order now. We could have some issues. Anyone who saw the Apex Racing TV broadcast yesterday, we're seeing some issues down into this next chicane, ever so tight with the curbs stacking up on either side of the circuit. So far, we seem to have got through okay. Jason Mitchell just running a little bit wide, but apart from that, nicely done from the majority of the drivers, even though it was pretty bunched up near the back of the pack. Still Cooper then leading the way ahead of McKern and Beard. Carstensen up a couple of places despite almost getting caught up in that spin. And Jamie Ayres up 5 places up into 5th position. Big on top of the Amdras, he's up 11.
Yeah, just as you see here, Jason Cooper, though, doing an amazing job to get away off the line there. He's now 1 second ahead of Nick McCarron, who just leads by 0.2 of a second over Ashley Beard. So it is Swift Cooper Esports, SimLab, Excite Energy, iRacing, and then Swift Cooper Esports and SimLab then. So SimLab and Swift Cooper doing pretty good here in the first part of this race. We'll see if anyone starts to slice and dice as they head through and start lap number 2. But just like I said, Jason Cooper leading by 1.1 seconds now over Nick McCarron. He is definitely had a nice lead off the start.
Yes, definitely. That's a superb start from him. Issue for Brian Holmes, just losing a few positions. And yeah, so he's still losing positions then. So Brian Holmes with a big issue, maybe coming into the pits or something. But yeah, disappointing for him. I don't think he got caught up in the lap 1 issue, but since then really gone tumbling down. Here's Stuart Dick then, racing with Joseph Mitchell. Dick got past, I think, around this part of the circuit on the last lap, and he's desperately trying to keep these drivers behind at the moment. He's got a big queue of drivers with also Emery and Rizzo. I think Emery's going to try to make that move. and he does it so. So, yeah, still under pressure though from the judge just behind Emery, who had a very poor start after her terrific qualifying for the amateur driver. But keep behind Rizzo, who's up 19 places so far. Rizzo will try to go around the outside in this second chicane, but just not enough speed through that first part of the corner.
Yeah, Rizzo there, you can also see just a little bit off and into the grass there on the exit of the chicane. It is definitely not the easiest chicane to deal with. It's very, very easy to lose the rear end out of it. Then we head down into this tight hairpin, and I think that's Al-Amri looking to the inside. He gets a shove there by Graham Sessford behind in the year one racing car. Dale Benison as well, and I believe that is a couple drivers. Star Hendy was also the one able to get by his teammate of Sessford there. But let's jump back to the battle for second place right now. Carsonson into the back of Ashley Beard. Beard recovers it nicely, but that was almost a big incident through turn number one.
Yeah, they've just lost a little bit of time to McKern, about half a second away. McKern on that last lap, the fastest driver out on circuit. They all gained a little bit of time on car number one, position number one, Jason Cooper. But certainly a four-way battle seemingly at the moment. Here's Kip Stevens going to get past Charlie Stones. Issue 4, Adam Delmonts down the field. So he's gone tumbling down the order. We'll try to catch replay of that later on, probably after the race. Here's Dale Benison then, battling with Craig Cameron and also Joe McDonald. Lots of off tracks being picked up by these drivers. You can see them running off into the gravel, trying to gain every little bit of time that they can. They will get disqualified if they get 20 instants. As issue there, Ray Cullinan making a move, getting past Charlie Summers. Holding back Summers. So it's actually Cullinan struggling a little bit. Stevens not looking terrific exit there, failing to really put up not too much pressure. Issue for Joseph Mitchell. Now he's off the circuit and falling down the order.
Yes, I'll try to queue up what happened there. We'll kind of get a replay of that one just at the end of the race. We'll kind of go through some of the in-race action that we've had here. And we always seem to have action. This circuit definitely promotes a lot of battling and a lot of different things to happen. There is so much that can go wrong at this track, and I think that the slowdown penalties are what can really hurt you. I think that Martin Plowman there has a slowdown penalty. He's definitely slowing quite hard. If you go a little bit too much on the inside of that first hairpin, you can really make that a slowdown. But now Charlie Summers going down the inside of Cullen and down into turn number one, and he's for sure got that move done. It's so easy to make that move going through turn number one, especially if you have the run down the straightaway. There's really nothing that they can do to hang it around the outside. Jason Cooper right now still out in the lead. He's up to 1.4 seconds the advantage, almost 1.5 second advantage here. He is doing an amazing job to hang on to this lead, and he's got Ashley Beard in second, Niels Carsonson about half a second behind him in third.
Yeah, Nick McCann lost 2 positions on that lap, was running in second place, but has dropped a couple of places, so Beard and Carsonson getting past him. So disappointing the lap there for Nick McCann, and you could see just before how he was quite far behind his rivals. Car number 86 there, Martin Plowman, again with a slowdown seemingly, or maybe he's got something more of an issue, because we saw him slow at the end of the last lap, and he just seems really painfully slowed down each of these straights, and he's continually losing positions. Cesar Rizzo will keep hold of that position. He's currently battling with Max Bohr, the Emmy, who he was fighting with earlier on, just pulling away ahead of these guys. But Rizzo, after a terrific start, 21 places gained. He doesn't seem to be the fastest driver out there. He has got quite a lot of damage on that car, and into the hairpin, he's vulnerable again, but credit to him, the car number 47. Good racecraft at the moment, and this could be a very good result for him.
Keep an eye on this, though. Ashley Beard is closing the gap to Jason Cooper. We're 6 minutes, just about 7 minutes now through race number one, and there we go. Beard has gone fastest at 140.283. That's 0.6 of a second faster than Jason Cooper ahead, and now the gap is down to 0.9 of a second, just at about a second advantage now. Cooper has over Beard, and he is really gaining as Ashley Beard.
Yes, a couple of fastest laps of the race. He's been faster than the race even in the last 2 laps, but like you said on that last lap, absolutely storming along there is Ashley Beard. Niels Carsonson trying to keep up, but I think it's going to be probably a 2-way battle unless they start fighting out in the lead. You can see the top 10 really spread out quite a bit, as the rest of the field does too, as the race goes on. But you can see a little bit further down, we got 3 wide. And that would have been very ambitious had the car on the inside there not just backed out of it. That was Charles Kellyman doing the wise thing there of staying out of it. Oh, sorry, Dale Benison, apologies. Stephen Baxter just at the head of this straight, and you can see these drivers so reluctant to go for a move into the chicane because you know that if you're going to go for that, then you're putting yourself under big pressure from a crash or after the race. Penalty, of course. McRitchie. Now battling Graham. McRitchie's got the inside line, and Graham, well, keeping his nose in there. McRitchie gives him a lot of space, getting it to him, but he gets that one.
James McRitchie is now up 15 spots. Rob Graham is up 19. So these drivers really, really moving up. I think that is due to that big incident. The drivers that were able to get through that incident were actually able to benefit quite severely from it, because now you can see there Cesar Rizzo is up in the 13th spot with 20 spots of his starting position. So he's done an amazing job so far. And that is really the key here, though, is to stay clean in these first few laps of the race. Because if not, then you kind of have to hope that the reverse grid goes your way, because if it doesn't, then you are a long way back for race 2 here tonight, considering that we have 48 cars on the grid. That is a lot of spots to make up if you want to get back to the front.
Yes, and it can often take you an entire evening just to gradually gain those positions race after race. And yeah, like you said, if you're not involved in the reverse grid, then you're in big trouble. Right in the thick of the action at the moment is Dale Benison. He's holding back Charles Kellyman. This is for some pretty lofty positions in the drivers. Also, McRitchie still going at battle with Graham. Graham not giving up that one. And still Dave Hampson as well, right on the tail of these guys. Also 37 and 67 just ahead. Dale Benison under pressure from Charles Kellyman.
There we go. Also Christian Brown as well, getting by Joe McDonald. So we're seeing a lot of battles here in this midfield. Rob Graham is really, really close. They're actually side by side as McRitchie and Graham. McRitchie's on the outside. Graham is on the inside. He's actually going to make a double overtake there down the inside of McDonald. McDonald has to cut the chicane. That's going to be a slowdown for sure for McDonald. If it's not, I would be extremely surprised there. But Graham really sent it down the inside and just got into the side of McDonald just a little bit there, which caused him to cut the chicane. Hopefully not a slowdown there for Joe McDonald, because he really was kind of the innocent bystander in that, but he is not slowing down, so it looks like he has gotten away with that one. But Rob Graham is really, really aggressive here in race 1.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he wanted to go for the double overtake, but he got at least one of them, and like I said, very nearly 2 of them in the end. Stuart Dick, this battle kind of renewing. Dick is 3.5 seconds behind Summers, but Cullinan and Stevens catching up. Cullinan looking like he's going to finish top of the drive, so he's not really particularly close to the top of the drives in the Drivers' Championship. So these points would really be very useful for him. Al Amri is currently 3rd place in that category with Matthew Emery, who started on pole out of the drives, currently in 2nd place. Good opportunity for Cullinan to take some points. So he doesn't want to get involved in a crash. That was a back marker spinning. That was not the race leader. The race leader still going about his way. Jason Cooper, who was just 1/10 of a second slower than Ashley Beard on the last lap. So he's just about managing this one at the moment, isn't he, Tyler? He's just, it must be frustrating for Beard because he desperately wants to get that gap below half a second, but he just can't quite get in the slipstream at the moment.
Yeah, he just can't quite get into the slipstream, and really you start feeling the slipstream effects at about 7/10 of a second back, but half a second, like you said, is where you really start feeling the effects of the slipstream, and then at that point, he is really quite on him. He's down to 8/10 of a second, so he will gain a little bit down this straightaway, but it won't be much, maybe a few hundredths of a second, and there you go. You can see he's gained just about 1/10 so far down this front straightaway, but 1/10 of a second is a lot in these MX5s. We're working on 12 minutes to go, so we should be getting the white flag in just about 2 laps time here.
Yeah, so not too much longer for Jason Cooper to hold out. He's fighting for the championship with Jack Ashton, who doesn't seem to be here today. So an awesome opportunity for him to extend his championship lead. Here is Stevens trying to get past Cullinan. Cullinan putting up a good resistance. They've dropped off the back of Dick. And now Emery and Bohr gets involved. Emery was so quick in qualifying, so expect him to be very close to these guys. Also got Hendy. battling with a couple of other drivers. Carstensen back under pressure from Ayres. Look at Ayres, he's absolutely storming along now.
Yeah, Jamie Ayres really storming along. He's actually going to try down the inside. It will be the inside now for this quick chicane. We'll jump back to your battle for the lead here in just a moment, but Jamie Ayres able to make up that move on Niels Carstensen. Carstensen tries the overcut, but it is to no avail as Jamie Ayres is sideways and almost into the wall. I would honestly like to know how he didn't hit the wall there.
That was quite incredible from Ayres, really hanging the back end out. And now it's going to be his teammate instead. Nick McKern is going to go on the hunt for a podium. These guys are really closing in now, so they were fighting with one another, and it's fighting Emery. After getting super unlucky on the first corner, Emery, he's had a terrific comeback. And here he goes past Kip Stevens. No, he can't, sorry. And he stays behind Stevens instead. Still battle for the podium up for grabs. McKern didn't quite nail the exit off the final corner. He's not going to be in range for this very wide turn in at turn 1. He's going to have to wait probably till later on in this lap. I think that's all the time he's going to get.
And that's Al Lamry off. So he has had some sort of incident. He's losing a lot of spots here. There we go. We're going to jump just back to this battle here. Kip Stevens is trying around the outside. They're going to be 3 wide now. Cullinan sticks it down the middle, and it's not going to be to any avail. And Matthew Emery is going to get tagged there by Kip Stevens, and that is also going to be Ralph Cullinan into that one just as well. But he is going to take the lead of the AM race here. Matthew Emery is just now getting rolling again. That's so unfortunate for him. Just barely got tagged by Kip Stevens, and it's so easy to do whenever you're the driver on the inside. It doesn't look to be as well, though it was intentional, but it definitely did happen there. Look at that, Jason Cooper, he's starting to lose the lead a little bit here. Ashley Beer is closing.
Yeah, he didn't make much of an impression on the last lap, did Beard. I think he's going to run out of time, unfortunately, to make the move. He's still 6.5 tenths of a second behind. In reality, it doesn't make that much of a difference in the points, but certainly for pride, these drivers want as much as they possibly can, and in the team's championship, Excite and Swift Cooper are quite close. Beard is getting closer. He gained about a quarter of a second just round that tight left-hander, but out in the lead, Jason Cooper. It looks like he's going to do enough to extend his championship lead. Car number 1 approaches the line. He's going to finish number 1. He wins race 1 at Zolder, and that was a big victory for him. For the final podium place, looks like it's going to be Adam McNally. Sorry, no, Niels Carstensen, apologies, has already crossed the line. McNally, though, will finish in 6th position, just about beating Summers. I was thinking, incredible fast final lap there from Adam McNally to get up into 3rd position, but it wasn't quite that case. Cullinan will finish top of the AM drivers. Emery will still finish 2nd place out of the AM drivers, so that's a decent recovery after 2 spins for him. I don't think either of them were his mistake. And now the rest of these drivers just crossing the line as well. Dave Hampson having a bit of an issue right at the end. Just dropping a couple of places. Jurgen Ursum, he's currently leader of the AM drivers, having a bit of a mare in that race 1. But yeah, he'll cross the line in 33rd position. So, 31st position, apologies.
Yeah, and he was 13th out of the AM drivers there, so he is quite a ways down the order. Andy Maxwell and Mikey Key. Mikey Key there with a lot of damage. They're both actually with a lot of damage. They all are going to cross the line. And we will go ahead, and as soon as race results are available for us, we'll get those up on our screens, and we will get the reverse grid wheel rolling, and we'll see how the reverse grid is going to shake up the results. Wouter van Essen, the last driver to cross the line, and the results are now up on your screen now.
Yes, so it's Jason Cooper winning once again, 1/10 of a second clear of Ashley Beard, maybe one more lap. Beard could have had the edge. Niels Carstensen, good defensive driving there. He was a long way off the top 2, but still a solid podium for him. Nick McKern finished in 4th place. There's Jamie Ayres in 5th, Anna McNally 6th. There's Charlie Summers, Stuart Dick, Kip Stevens, Max Bohr, and Rick Carter rounding out the top 11. There's Adrian Hendy, Steve Baxter, Matthew Emery, Craig Cameron, Graham Sesford, Charles Kellyman, Christian Brown, Joe McDonald, Rob Graham, Ben Mears, James McRitchie, David Hampson, Dale Bennison, Billy Rose, Adam Delmont, Carl Hardy, Scott Malcolm, Ben Sharp, Mick Barry, Ewan Ursum, Luke Cooper, Abel Keir, Al Amri, Steve Hansford, Craig Jones, Cesar Rizzo, Josh Rayfield, Joe Mitchell, Mikey Key, Andy Maxwell, and then one lap down was Wout van Essen. Van Essen will be the last driver eligible for the reverse grid. The retirees were Martin Plowman, Steve Heppard, Pete Van Gool, Brian Holmes, Steve Cooley, Carl Yacolet, and Liam Silkston. And so, time for the reverse grid, Tyler. Like I said, Wout van Essen, last of the eligible drivers, he starts in 41st position. So anything more than 41, we will have a full reverse grid.
Let's go ahead and spin the reverse grid wheel and let's see where the drivers are going to stack up for race number 2, sorry. And it is going to be a -2, so we're going to get a -2 on the reverse grid wheel. Let's see where that's going to put the drivers.
So that'll be Mikey Key then on pole position. Unfortunate for Andy Maxwell, he just misses out. So it'll be Michael Key and then Joe Mitchell alongside him on the front row of the grid. Josh Rayfield and Cesar Rizzo starting on the second row. Also, Luke Cooper starting quite far up there. He's in the top 10 certainly, so could be a dark horse for that race. Tyler, do we have some race replays we can perhaps go through to maybe clear up some of the action that was going on amongst the field?
Let's do that, actually. So let's get, I'm going to try to get queued up what happened here to Adam Delmont and see if we can queue this up here. The session, oh, here we go. Let's see what happened to Adam Delmont. Ooh, so I think that was one of the Fury SimSport drivers. I think that was Ben Sharp, and that was what sent Adam Delmont out of the running here. Steve Hansford has supposedly had a crash. Let's see what happened with Hansford. Don't believe that was to anything. I think that was just the left timing software kind of gets crashed here. Let's see what happened to Martin Plowman. I know that he did actually DNF this race, so this may have been what happened to him that caused him to DNF. So let's see if we can figure out what happened here with him.
Yeah, at the moment going okay for him, but all of a sudden going a little bit slowed down this straight. And yeah, maybe Plowman having some issues later on in the race, but you can certainly see from straight away from this replay, you can see he was really struggling, maybe with a little bit of damage previously or some hardware issues in real life.
Yeah, because I'm kind of trying to see what happened with him. That caused him to have that incident, and I'm not seeing anything. So appears that you just have some hardware issues. Super unfortunate for him though, to have those issues here. And he won't be able to benefit from the reverse grid, and he will have to start from way down the grid order. I believe he'll start in 42nd place for race number 2. He has 3 races left to make up that time before he has to, race 4 is completed. So we still have 3 more races left to go. And race 2 should be coming up momentarily here on the iRacing Esports Network and on Apex Racing TV.
To the front bumper, and he hits him again now. And now Fowler into the outside wall.
He's going to pass nearly 3 cars down that front straightaway, and he's going to get them all done with. What amazing.
Lee to the inside goes Logan Cloudman is going to touch in. Pit press.
saved it.
What a save.
Look to the outside as Trunkett goes off. De Jong into second place.
Going for the switchback. Oh, pinpoint driving.
It's howling down to the inside.
Trying this contact though.
That's wide left of the racetrack. Chris Renner drives it back down underneath, and he takes that second spot right back. Joker goes to Garrett Lowe.
Garrett Lowe should take victory with all that contact.
He's going to try and make the move around the upset the parabolica. That's not going to work, but he's going to try and get the cutback here. Get the run out the parabolica. That's beautifully done there. Michael Schumacher, there's a little bit of door banging as well.
Of the best sim racers, $100,000 on the line. Who will rise to the challenge? This is the most competitive and sought-after season in iRacing World Championship history. This is where legends are made. This is the Porsche Esports Super Cup.
iRacing, you wanted the best, you got him for abreast. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the World of Outlaws.
Gotta love this time of year. Only one can be champion. Let's go playoff racing. To the front bumper, and he hits him again now. Ray Alfala into the outside wall.
Gonna pass nearly 3 cars down that front straightaway, and he's gonna get them all done with. What amazing.
Lee to the inside goes Logan Cloudman is gonna touch in. Pit press.
saved it.
What a save.
Look to the outside as Trunkett goes off. De Jong into second place.
Going for the switchback. Oh, pinpoint driving.
It's howling down to the inside.
Trying this contact though.
That's wide left of the racetrack. Chris Renner drives it back down underneath, and he takes that second spot right back. Joker goes to Garrett Lowe.
Garrett Lowe should take victory with all that contact.
He's going to try and make the move around the upset the parabolica. That's not going to work, but he's going to try and get the cutback here. Get the run out the parabolica. That's beautifully done there. Michael Schumacher, there's a little bit of door banging as well.
Of the best sim racers, $100,000 on the line. Who will rise to the challenge? This is the most competitive and sought-after season in iRacing World Championship history. This is where legends are made. This is the Porsche Esports Super Cup.
iRacing, you wanted the best, got him for abreast. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the World of Outlaws.
Gotta love this time of year. Only one can be champion. Let's go playoff racing. I said, hey, there's no surrender. Let 'em hear my battle to the front bumper, and he hits him again now. Rayon Fowler into the outside wall.
Gonna pass nearly 3 cars down that front straightaway, and he's gonna get them all done with. What amazing
Race lead to the inside goes Logan Cloudman is gonna touch in. Pit press sideways. What a save!
Look to the outside as Trunkgate goes off. De Jong into second place.
going for the switchback. Oh, pinpoint driving.
It's howling down to the inside.
Trying this contact though.
Slide left of the racetrack. Chris Benner drives it back down underneath, and he takes that second spot right back. Joker goes to Garrett Lowe.
Garrett Lowe should take victory with all that contact. He's going to try and make the move around the outside the parabolica. That's not going to work, but he's going to try and get the cutback here. Get the run out the parabolica. That's beautifully done there. Michael Schubert, there's a little bit of door banging as well.
"40 of the best sim racers, $100,000 on the line. Who will rise to the challenge?" This is the most competitive and sought-after season in iRacing World Championship history. This is where legends are made. This is the Porsche Esports Super Cup.
iRacing, you wanted the best, you got them 4 abreast. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show under the world of outlaw.
Gotta love this time of year. Only one can be champion. Let's go playoff racing. I said, hey, there's no surrender. Let 'em hear my battle to the front bumper, and he hits him again now. Rayon Fowler into the outside wall.
Gonna pass nearly 3 cars down that front straightaway, and he's gonna get them all done with. What amazing!
Race lead to the inside goes Logan Cloudman is gonna touch in. Pit press sideways. What a save!
Look to the outside as Trunkgate goes off. De Jong into second place.
Going for the switchback. Oh, pinpoint driving.
It's howling down to the inside.
Trying this contact though.
Slide left of the racetrack. Chris Benner drives it back down underneath, and he takes that second spot right back. Joker goes to Garrett Lowe.
Garrett Lowe should take victory with all that contact. He's going to try and make the move around the outside the parabolica. That's not going to work, but he's going to try and get the cutback here. Get the run out the parabolica. That's beautifully done there. Michael Schubert, there's a little bit of door banging as well.
40 of the best sim racers, $100,000 on the line. Who will rise to the challenge? This is the most competitive and sought-after season in iRacing World Championship history. This is where legends are made. This is the Porsche Esports Super Cup.
iRacing, you wanted the best, you got them 4 abreast. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show under the world of outlaw.
Welcome back to the iRacing Esports Network and the BSR MX5 Pro Series presented by Apex Racing TV. We're just preparing for race 2 at the moment. We just saw race 1 and yeah, it was a very good race 1 round here at the Zolder circuit. A big reverse grid of 39 cars was applied to the finishing results of race 1, and so a big reverse grid for this race 2. I'm Sam Fitzpatrick once again, and alongside me once again is Tyler Maxson. And Tyler, you raced around this circuit yesterday, and yeah, just take us through a few of maybe the characteristics of this track, something that you noticed, especially with this car as well.
The first thing that comes to mind is tricky. This track is incredibly tricky in this car, especially in a few of the chicanes there. It can just really upset the rear end of the car. As we saw there with Jamie Ayers, kind of just got a little bit loose up in the rear, and it's very, very easy to completely loop it around. I saw several drivers do that yesterday. It's very, very easy to do that, and it's easy to make a mistake at this track. There's really not much margin for error at this racetrack, especially at a corner like turn number 1. You're going to lose nearly a second if you just completely overshoot the corner, because it's so fast and so flowing. Any mistake is amplified by about 10.
Yeah, very little runoff around this circuit. It is certainly a favourite amongst most drivers, I would say. A few drivers aren't massive fans of it, particularly these big curves and quite so many chicanes around this place. But I think on the most part, drivers really do enjoy this, and it does work very well for these MX5 cars. We're just waiting for the session to advance. A little bit of hesitation, seemingly. But I'll just try to load up the championship points, because currently Jason Cooper is leading the way in the overall standings, with his main rival unfortunately not being able to take the starts so far today. Jack Ashton, that is, in second place. Luke Cooper is in third position in the championship. Nick McKern and Kip Stevens rounding out the top 5. In the AM standings, Juran Ursum, who had a bit of a struggling race 1, he's top of the AM drivers. Ben Mears, his closest rival, but is still a long way behind. David Ayres is in third, Scott Malcolm 4th, and Carl Hardy is in 5th. So keep an eye out for those drivers, because we are gradually approaching the end of the season. Got about a third of the season yet to go still, but still these races gradually gain importance. And I guess today, Tyler, with Jack Ashton not here, Jason Cooper really must feel a great opportunity to pull out his championship lead, because you don't often get an opportunity to start your championship lead, because your championship rivals rarely away.
Yeah, that's definitely a good point there, is that, you know, he really can pull away at this point in the season, at this race. If he can have 4 good results and no DNFs and earn some good points in every single one, then he could really walk away with a nice lead in the championship. And just as we did have the pre-championship points up on your screen, that was pre of race number 1. I think you were reading out of race number 2, so thank you for that one. And we do have that date there for the top 5 in the pro standings. Right now, we're just waiting on warm-up to finish, and it has just finished. And as soon as the grid is ready, we'll go ahead and get that up on your screen and get race number 2 kicked off for the evening.
Yes, like I said, a big reverse grid from the finishing results of race 1. That means that Mikey Key is on pole position. Joe Mitchell starts alongside him on the front row. Then it's Josh Rayfield, Cesar Rizzo, Craig Jones, Steve Hansford, Abelkir Al-Amri, Luke Cooper, Ewan Ursum, Michael Barry, Ben Sharp, Scott Malcolm, Carl Hardy, Adam Delmont, Billy Rose, Dale Benison, David Hampson, James McRitchie, Ben Mears, and Rob Graham. That's the top 20. Watch out, of course, for Jason Cooper, winner of race 1. He starts down in 39th position. He's used to this situation where you often get big reverse grids in this series. And so Jason has really come accustomed to having to make his way up through the field. Saw some fantastic drives at Snetterton last week by lots of the front-running drives. Will they be able to replicate that today? So, race 2 of the evening here at Zolder is about to get underway. It's Mikey Key from the pole position, Joseph Mitchell alongside him. And away we go for race 2. Key gets a decent start, good start actually from Josh Rayfield from 3rd on the grid. He might be challenging going into turn 1, but certainly Key will be ahead of the rest of the field. Going into 1, almost coming under a bit of pressure for Mitchell, who just momentarily takes the lead. So far, not too many incidents, unlike race 1 where we saw a couple of spinners in the turn 1. And already Mitchell is going off the circuit. He momentarily took the lead of the race, but you can see him just on the outside of the second corner, and Mitchell goes falling down the order, ever so disappointing for him. Means that Key is just ahead of Rizzo. He might have to cut back to the front here because it's ever so close. Rizzo trying to pressurize him, started in 4th, but placed it Cesar Rizzo, but he's now taken the lead. He's got the inside into the chicane, and Cesar Rizzo takes the lead really deep for one of the drivers. That was maybe Al-Amri, and oh dear, we got a spinner as well at the chicane. Fortunately gets off the circuit. That was Michael Barry there, and a couple more spinners as well.
Yes, you can just see it all kicked off there. Cesar Rizzo, though, is up into the lead, and he is benefiting now from the battling that they're doing behind, and that is, I can't sell Josh Rayfield. He's around. Josh Rayfield has spun it. That is where I was talking about. It's so easy to spin the car out there and completely lose it, and he has done so. So unfortunate there. Keep an eye, though, on Luke Cooper. He's already up 3 spots. He is the highest placing pro right now, besides Cesar Rizzo, who is out in the lead. But he has done a great job to benefit from that front starting position. We're also going to keep an eye on the drivers who were high up in race number 1. They are really going to start moving up here in race number 2.
So far, Charlie Summers, the big gainer at 15 places from 33rd on the grid. We had a bit of an issue for one, drives down at the hairpin, but I think they've all sorted it out now. And Rizzo leads after the opening lap by 1.5 seconds as they all stream through this final chicane, not usually used on most of the official series, but it is quite a sight as Charlie Summers is off the circuit. And just as he gained 15 places, I hasten to feel that he may lose 15 positions just as quickly, and that was so disappointing for him because he had a decent chance at getting a good result. But yeah, a little bit of damage as well on that car, seemingly. Also good start for Rob Graham, up 7 positions, got side by side currently between Ursum and Hansford, just ahead of Adam Delmont, who were just watching from above. And it was Hansford who came out on top there.
And look at Mikey Keys trying to go around the outside here of Cesar Rizzo down into the chicane. Mikey Keys he's not gonna be able to make the move. He's gonna think better of it. Slot back in the line. He's got his teammate right behind him, Craig Jones, and then Luke Cooper is up into 4th place. Al-Amri and Ben Sharp, they're battling then, heading out of the chicane. And now it is Al-Amri looking for a move on Cooper, but it's going to be Sharp going by both of them. Cooper must have had some issues. Cooper has a slowdown, I believe. He's off the circuit. Your own Ursum is able to get by Al-Amri then, and Ben Sharp was the biggest gainer out of that one. He moved 2 spots in just the span of 1 corner.
Luke Cooper with a fantastic chance of winning this race. Remember, 3rd place in the championship. very much out of position on this grid, and that's a real setback that he could not afford. I think he's going to try to get back past straight away though, past Juran Ursum. He's leader of the AM drivers in the championship, and also coming through is Adam Delmont as well. Either side of the driver they go, and they both make their way past as Swift Cooper and Excite Racing go past their Delmont straight away, going for the move into turn 2, but Cooper with enough speed on the outside of that corner, and he'll set his sights on the drivers just ahead.
Now let's look back at this battle. The midfield battle is kicking off here. And let's do a quick update here on the drivers who have started in the back and are moving their way forward. Right now, Jamie Ayers is currently sitting in 24th place. He's up 11 spots. Jason Cooper as well, up 11 spots. He's up into 28th place. Nick McCarron up 9 to go 27. And I'm trying to figure out here where a couple of the other drivers are. Niels Carson's in there is up in 11, just ahead of McCarron. Right now, they're in the train. The drivers, as McDonald goes down the inside of Ayers, not able to make that work. And I believe that is going to be Max Bohr able to get by Joe McDonald because of that. And that is also going to allow Carsonson by, and Cooper is looking for a move by his teammate Carsonson, and maybe even a move by Joe McDonald here. He's not able to go by McDonald. He will slot into line just behind him. So this battle is definitely heating up here as the drivers try and make their way through the field.
Yeah, they somehow find themselves back into single file quite quickly. This isn't single file, this is almost 3 wide here. Kip Stevens on the outside, getting overtaken there by one of the drivers. Apologies, just trying to find where this is. Stuart Dick making the move then on Stevens. Cameron just on his tail.
Ayers making the move there on Adam Delmont, so he'll move himself up into 22nd place. He's done a nice job to really move himself up as Ayers gets all sorts of sideways, and he's off the circuit. Keeps it out of the wall nicely, but he's now going to lose 4 spots there. And Jason Cooper is going to go down 2 down the straightaway. He's going to get past Joe McDonald. Nearly clears him before turn 1. He does clear him just before turn 1. And he is now up into 24th place. So he's very opportunistic there. Was Jason Cooper. And he's now up into, I think that was 24th place. So he's moved up quite a bit of spots here. Let's go back to this battle for 3rd place right now on the track. 4th place, on the track is Al Amri over Sharp, Luke Cooper, and Adam Delmont. That will be your battle of 4 cars right now. As Sharp is off the track, that's going to allow Cooper and Delmont to get by, maybe, but it looks like Sharp hasn't lost too much time in doing that. And he's just possibly just going to get passed by Luke Cooper there. He may be able to hold it around the outside. No, he's not. Adam Delmont's looking for it, and I think he's going to have the inside for the next corner and should be able to make that move stick. It is easy to hang around the outside here. And look at Dave Hampson. He is going to be opportunistic possibly and try and go by both of them down into the hairpin. I don't think that'll stick at 3 wide, but if Adam Delmont is able to clear Ben Sharp, then I may see a move there. But Delmont down the inside of Sharp. Sharp should be able to slot back in, and he's only going to lose 2 spots there.
Yes, and not too bad for Ben Sharp, still 4th place out of the AM drivers. Rob Graham, after a terrific start for him, failing to, or starting to lose some positions. I think he was up into the top 12 or so places, but drops back down into 17th place now, just up 3 places from his start. Issues there, is that Luke Cooper again? Oh, well, he's had an absolute mare, Luke Cooper. He was maybe my pick for the race win for this race, but he's really struggled with the slowdowns, and once again he loses a whole heap of positions. I think he might still be struggling a little bit out there, going quite slowly through the first couple of corners. So after all of that, it means that Rizzo is currently 0.8 of a second ahead of Key, 0.2 of a second behind Key, with Key just making a couple of mistakes. It's very close actually for the race. We might have to cut to that because Key is really under pressure all of a sudden. I think just making a mistake in the last couple of corners. And now it's Rizzo and Jones keeping a good eye on it.
I think that was actually Rizzo there making the mistake, because I'm almost positive Rizzo was your leader as we head on to this lap. And yeah, actually, Cesar Rizzo is much faster than Mikey Key, so I think Cesar Rizzo maybe has made a mistake somewhere. This battle definitely not going anywhere anytime soon. Cesar Rizzo looking for a way past Mikey Key. Rizzo's going to look to the inside, and he is going to send it down the inside, and he just has that move done there. So let's jump back to the battle on the racetrack right now. This is a big, big battle here for 10th place. Jeroen Ursum ahead, and even farther ahead of that, there's Carl Hardy at the lead of this train right here. Benjamin Mears in second in the train. That is for 8th and 9th, and Jeroen Ursum. That'll be your top 10. And Matthew Emery, Stephen Baxter, Steve Hansford, and Billy Rose. That is a big, big battle right here.
Yeah, apologies for my mistake earlier on. It was Rizzo initially making a mistake, allowing Key pass, but like we saw just before, Key losing that position once again to Rizzo. Rizzo holds that lead then. Baxter getting past, so nice move there. Gets him past Matthew Emery there, who had such a frustrating race one, having a couple of spins, but he is quick as Emery. I think this might be one of his first ever races in this series, so certainly yeah, a bit like a duck to water, safe to say. A few lakes, I think, around this part of the world, as a mistake there for Steve Hansford, almost spinning into the wall. It would be fortunate that he didn't clatter anything there.
Definitely lucky for him, as Jamie Ayers is going to look by Craig Cameron. Ayers is going to go for the outside here into the chicane. That's going to be a very, very hard move to pull off. Ayers will be on the racing line, though. Cameron will have to back out of it. Ayers will make himself up into 23rd place. Let me try to quickly figure out where Luke Cooper and Jason Cooper is really who I'm looking for here. He's up to 17, so he's up 22 spots. He's done an amazing job of moving himself up. And he's actually ahead right now of Niels Carstensen, Nick McCarron, Jamie Ayers, a few of the drivers that he was battling in race number 1. He's already ahead of them, but it is Cesar Rizzo who leads the field as we head down now through 10 minutes to go and just 2 laps remaining as we head on to the final 2 laps to go.
Yeah, half a chance is there for Al Amri. He was 1.5 seconds faster on the previous lap. What about this lap? Al Amri, yeah, 1.5 seconds quicker. So Abelkir Al Amri, who managed to get a podium, I think, quite recently at Charlotte Motor Speedway, and I was very much praising him for that podium that he got that day. And he's looking like he could even win this one. He's 1.2 seconds off the lead trio, and he's making up some nice time at the moment. Still, this massive battle going on. Mears versus Baxter. Baxter with the momentum around the outside through turn 3 into 4. He's going to have to be brave to go for this one. A little bit of banking around this corner as well, and he used that to his advantage. Steve Baxter makes a nice move there, and he's now pretty much ahead of this train. He's got Carl Hardy to overtake just ahead. Baxter showing some nice pace in this race, up 18 places from his start, but you can see that fantastic train of cars. Here comes Baxter again. He's going to try to get the next car straight away. That's Carl Hardy. This is for 8th position. Baxter will look to the inside. Will be an ambitious one there. Hardy misjudges that one. Might not get a slowdown, almost contact between the two of them, and from attack to defense. Now Baxter is under pressure from that was Ben Mears, but Mears now loses the position to Ursum. So all going on in that battle, a terrific train, and two by two they come into the hairpin, and that's still Mears going to defend from Dick this time, so almost losing some more positions. Still Baxter.
Billy Rose also being very, very optimistic. Trying to make himself up in another spot by Stuart Dick. He wasn't able to make the move work, but right now Carl Hardy is 9/100ths of a second over Steven Baxter. Baxter is going to try the outside. Hardy defends to the inside, and Hardy should just have this move unless Baxter can cross him over, and he does. Hardy overshoots the corner again, and Baxter is able to get by. But right now, let's jump back to the battle for second place right now. Jones squeezes out Rizzo. Rizzo is going to be off and into the barriers. Just keeps it out of the barriers, though. Nice job to keep it out of the barriers there. Key is going to be your leader. Craig Jones is going to be down into second. Adam Delmont's going to slide into third. Alamry is fourth, and you can hear a little bit of a punt there, I think, by Alamry to try and get by Adam Delmont.
Was leading the race was Cesar Rizzo going into this lap. Lost it initially to Mikey Key and then got caught up in that accident that we just saw the back end of against Jones and Kate. Ursum's now losing positions as well, so the championship leader out of the AM drivers having a tough time of it, but I think we'll have to stick with these top 4 pretty much to the end of the race. They've got one more lap to go after this one. And it's Key
think
still
actually
6 tenths of a second ahead.
I think we're actually on the final lap here. So Mikey Key, yes, actually we are on the final lap. So Mikey Key will come across the line if he can hold on to this one. Will come across the line to win race number 2. Adam Delmont's going to slot himself up in a third. Will Lamry be able to get by Craig Jones? I don't think he's going to have enough. He's just a bit too far back to make that one work. And yeah, there we go. He just loses it just a little bit. He's actually going to lose the car. And now Lamry's into the wall. He's going to get passed by Hampson and Sharp. Will Baxter go through as well? I don't think so, as Lamry, yes, Baxter will go through as well as Carl Hardy, Benjamin Meir, Stuart Dick, and now Lamry's been hit again and he's on his roof. And that is just added insult to injury there for Lamry.
So it was Mikey Key then winning out. He almost got caught and passed by Adam Delmont on the run to the line. But Key, number 69, wins out ahead of Delmont, who had a surge in those final few laps. I think went from 2nd to 3rd place. Second to 6th to 2nd place. Apologies. Just in the last 3 laps or so. An absolute storm, nearly caught and passed the leader as well. Jones rounds out the podium. Lamry, in his desperation to get to the line with his steering damage, hit the wall and managed to flip the car over. He will be eligible for the reverse grid, fortunately, but he will finish 1 lap down, I believe, unless someone gives him a nudge across the line. We might be able to see Lamry right now. He might still be on the circuit. I'm not quite sure.
I think he is reset.
Right, okay. Probably wise of him to do so. Charlie Summers with some issues, as Jonathan Ledgard would say. Very appropriate quotes there for his current situation, but he will get a nudge across. And that's well, is he getting a nudge across? I'm not sure what the SimLab driver is trying to do there. Just maybe going to give him a nudge if he does run out of a bit of steam, just pouring out the back end of his MX5 Mazda currently. We have got a couple of drivers yet to cross the line. I wonder if Summers is one of them. He is, so Summers hasn't actually finished the race yet, and he's still racing along, and these drivers on their in laps, their parade laps, if you will, willing to give him a little bit of a nudge across the line. Unfortunately, he's got 30 seconds to get across, and unfortunately, if he had maybe a higher fighting jet, he could perhaps get across the line, but unfortunately, with a MX5 with half an engine remaining, probably isn't going to make it, so we'll finish 2 laps down, and that's actually quite important because Summers could have well been on pole position for race 3 of the evening, but instead he's not gonna quite make it unless well, no one's really giving him a nudge across the line, it must be said, when they need to, but he's got 2 seconds to cross the line and he's not going to make it. So he will actually finish 1 lap down, so apologies, he will be eligible for the reverse grid, thankfully for him, but he did not finish on the lead lap in the end. So, all the results are in, and it's Mikey Key then winning out. He was on pole position. Feels like a while ago that a lot of tribulations for him. Beats Adam Delmont by just 7/100ths of a second in the end. Craig Jones finished in 3rd place, very close as well. Dave Hampson, a little bit quiet right at the end there, but he made up a lot of places up into P4. Ben Sharp finished in 5th, then Steve Baxter in 6th. Carl Hardy, Ben Mears, Stuart Dick, and Matthew Emery rounding up the top 10. Not a good result for Emery there. Then it was Kip Stevens, Jason Cooper, great drive from 39th on the grid. Max Bohr, Niles Carlson, Cesar Rizzo, Jamie Ayres, Steve Hansford, Nick McKern, Craig Cameron, Ewan Ursum, Charles Kellyman, Billy Rose, Rafe Cullinan, Dale Bennison, James McRitchie, Luke Cooper had a bit of a mare out there. Had a chance at the race win, but accumulates a lot of damage across the race and a few slowdowns as well. Joe Mitchell was in 27th, just behind him after starting on the front row of the grid. There's Ashley Beard, Pete Van Gool, Scott Malcolm, Rob Graham, Graham Sesford, Abelkir Al-Ami was 1 lap down, along with Adam McNally, Adrian Hindy, Charlie Summers, Joe McDonald, Woots Van Essen, and Steve Heather. I don't think I've ever seen so many drivers 1 lap down. But there you go, they'll all be eligible for the reverse grid. Liam Silkson, Martin Plowman, Andy Maxwell, Christian Brown, Michael Barry, Josh Rayfield, Steve Cooley, and Brian Holmes were the retirees. And so, Tyler, it's time for the reverse grid, a maximum reverse grid of 39 for this, for race 3.
Yeah, and I think that we can it's fair to say that Martin Plowman has had some terrible luck here. tonight as the reverse grid is rolling. Let's see what is going to bring us here for race number 3. And it's going to be 15. I don't think that we've had a 15-place reverse grid in quite a while. That is a really, really small reverse grid.
Well, quite remarkably, Cesar Rizzo, who was leading for much of that race, dropped back. He will be on pole position for race 3. Silver linings in that. Jamie Ayres just misses out. So it'll be Rizzo on the pole position, Lars Carstensen in 2nd place. Crucially, Jason Cooper, championship leader, well, his luck just keeps on coming. He'll start in 4th position for that race 3. So an opportunity for a massive haul of points once again for the championship leader. So Tyler, do we have any crashes to go through? I think we managed to cover the vast majority, to be honest.
I think that we did, but let's just go ahead and go through a couple just to be safe here. Let me try and queue up the first one. This is Charlie Summers' crash. Let's see what's happened to him. I think I quite remember this one. Ooh, he just gets turned there. Yeah, it just kind of comes over on Charles Kellyman and is turned into the wall. So really, really unfortunate for him. And let's try and see what happened to the driver there just in the end with him and getting spun around after being in the lead with Cesar Rizzo. Let's see what's happened here to Mr. Rizzo. If I can quickly try and find this replay. Let's see if this is it. I think that this may be it, but I'm not too sure here. Oh, there it is. So that was the replay that I was looking for. Let's actually try to ride on board with him just really quickly. Let's see what's happened to him. So Craig Jones has just come over and he's gotten onto the grass, hit the brakes on the grass, and he spun around. I really can't. I think that was kind of on him there a little bit. Obviously not for me to decide, but it definitely did look like he just kind of hit the brakes on the grass. Super, super unfortunate though. Way for him to end his race after leading for most of it, and probably had a really nice chance actually at winning that race, or at least a podium at that. So that's really unfortunate way to end his race number 2. He still has race 3 coming up, which he will start on pole for, so that is beautiful for him.
Yes, absolutely. Was pretty fortunate right there. But no, hopefully he'll have some redemption for race 3. Halfway through the evening, then add race 1 and race 2. Hopefully you've enjoyed, and hopefully you'll stick with us on the iRacing Esports Network for races 3 and 4 as well. We'll be back in about 10 minutes' time. See you then.
Sits to the front bumper, and he hits him again now. Rayafala into the outside wall.
He's going to pass nearly 3 cars down that front straightaway, and he's going to get them all done with. What amazing!
Lee to the inside goes Logan Cloudman is going to touch in. Pit press sideways. What a save!
Look to the outside as Truncate goes off. De Jong into 2nd place.
Going for the switchback. Oh, pinpoint driving.
It's howling down to the inside.
I tried this contact though.
Slide left of the racetrack. Chris Benner drives it back down underneath, and he takes that 2nd spot right back. Joker goes to Garrett Lowe.
Garrett Lowe should take victory with all that contact. He's going to try and make the move around the outside the parabolica. That's not going to work, but he's going to try and get the cutback here. Get the run out the parabolica. That's beautifully done there. Michael Schubert, there's a little bit of door banging as well.
$40 of the best sim racers, $100,000 on the line. Who will rise to the challenge? This is the most competitive and sought-after season in iRacing World Championship history. This is where legends are made. This is the Porsche Esports Super Cup.
iRacing, you wanted the best, you got them 4 abreast. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the World of Outlaws.
Gotta love this time of year. Only one can be champion. Let's go playoff racing. I said, hey, there's no surrender. Let me hear my battle cry. To the front bumper, and he hits him again now. Rayon Fowler into the outside wall.
He's gonna pass nearly 3 cars down that front straightaway, and he's gonna get them all done with. What amazing!
Race lead to the inside goes Logan Cloudman is gonna touch in. Pit press sideways. What a save!
Look to the outside as Trunkgate goes off. De Jong into second place.
Going for the switchback. Oh, pinpoint driving.
It's howling down to the inside.
There's contact though.
Slide left of the racetrack. Chris Renner drives it back down underneath, and he takes that second spot right back. Joker goes to Garrett Lowe.
Garrett Lowe should take victory with all that contact. He's going to try and make the move around the outside the parabolica. That's not going to work, but he's going to try and get the cutback here. Get the run out the parabolica. That's beautifully done there. Michael Schubert, there's a little bit of door banging as well.
of the best sim racers, $100,000 on the line. Who will rise to the challenge? This is the most competitive and sought-after season in iRacing World Championship history. This is where legends are made. This is the Porsche Esports Super Cup.
iRacing, you wanted the best, you got them 4 abreast. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the World of Outlaws.
Gotta love this time of year. Only one can be champion. Let's go playoff racing. I said, hey, there's no surrender. Let me hear my battle cry. To the front bumper, and he hits him again now. Rayon Fowler into the outside wall.
He's gonna pass nearly 3 cars down that front straightaway, and he's gonna get them all done with. What amazing!
Race lead to the inside goes Logan Cloudman is gonna touch in. Pit press sideways. What a save!
Look to the outside as Trunkgate goes off. De Jong into second place.
Going for the switchback. Oh, pinpoint driving.
It's howling down to the inside.
There's contact though.
Slide left of the racetrack. Chris Renner drives it back down underneath, and he takes that second spot right back. Joker goes to Garrett Lowe.
outside the parabolica. That's not going to work, but he's going to try and get the cutback here. Get the run out the parabolica. That's beautifully done there. MX5, there's a little bit of door banging as well.
Of the best sim racers, $100,000 on the line. Who will rise to the challenge? This is the most competitive and sought after season in iRacing World Championship history. This is where legends are made. This is the Porsche Esports Super Cup.
iRacing, you wanted the best, you got them 4 abreast. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show under the world of outlaw.
Gotta love this time of year. Only one can be champion. Let's go playoff racing. I said, hey, there's no surrender. Let 'em hear my battle to the front bumper, and he hits him again now. Ray Alfala into the outside wall.
Gonna pass nearly 3 cars down that front straightaway, and he's gonna get them all done with. What amazing!
Lee to the inside goes Logan Cloudman is gonna touch in. Pit press sideways. What a save!
Look to the outside as Trunkgate goes off. De Jong into second place.
I'm going for the switchback. Oh, pinpoint driving.
It's howling down the inside.
I'm trying the contact though.
Slide left to the racetrack. Chris Benner drives it back down underneath, and he takes that second spot right back. Joker goes to Garrett Lowe.
Garrett Lowe should take victory with all that contact. He's going to try and make the move around the outside the parabolica. That's not going to work, but he's going to try and get the cutback here. Get the run out the parabolica. That's beautifully done there. MX5, there's a little bit of door banging as well.
Welcome back to the iRacing Esports Network and the BSR MX5 Pro Series presented by Apex Racing TV. We are just preparing for race 3 of the evening. Once again, I'm Sam Fitzpatrick, and once again, I'm joined alongside by Tyler Maxson. And yeah, we've already had 2 races out this 4-race evening. We've got this one and then the final race as well. You can see it's probably a little bit later on in the day. Within sim time, it is 7:45 in the evening. This is pretty much sunset on the 15th of May in the Northern Hemisphere, of course. And so it should get quite dark as this race goes on, and race 4 will be a night race as well. Before we get going, because the drivers aren't currently bidding up, we'll do a little bit of promotion for one of the upcoming series on our own channel, Apex Racing TV. Got a British GT coming, which starts on Sunday. For more details on that, do look on the Apex Racing TV Facebook page. Features Porsche 911 Cup car and also the GT 3s as well, so thoroughly recommend checking that one out. Of course, there's plenty of other good leagues on the iRacing Esports Network as well, which I can't promote any of them. Don't know many of the details. Anyway, race 3 of the evening is about to get underway, and on pole position, after leading for much of race 2, he will be on pole position race 3. It's Cesar Rizzo after a 15-car reverse grid. It's Niles Carstensen alongside him on the front row of the grid. Max Bohr and Jason Cooper starts on the second row of the grid. Cooper probably the big favourite for this one. Then it's Kip Stevens, Matthew Emery, Stuart Dick, Ben Mears, Carl Hardy and Steve Baxter rounding out the top 10. And then it's Ben Sharp, David Hampson, Craig Jones, Adam Delmont, Mikey Key, Jamie Ayres, Steve Hansford, Nick McKern, Craig Cameron and Juran Ursum rounding out the top 20. And of course, once again on the grid, we've got 46 cars. So, the green lights are coming on. Unfortunately, Max Bohr could not take the start. But it's going to be Cesar Rizzo from the pole position. Away we go for race 3. Carstensen isn't going to be able to make a challenge going into turn 1. He's going to have to slot in behind. Decent start for Cooper. He'll keep Stevens behind him, I think, going into turn 1 as they all gain 1 position due to Bohr not taking the start. So far, no spinners, a little bit of contact perhaps going through turn 1. One spinner just at the back of the field seemingly, but on the most part, it's been very clean from the drivers. It's Rizzo leading 0.2 of a second ahead of Carstensen. Good start for Baxter. He's up 3 positions from 10th on the grid as Rizzo straight away under pressure from Carstensen. Straight through goes the Swift Cooper Esports driver, and now here comes the other Swift Cooper Esports driver, Jason Cooper. Rizzo with really good pace coming out of turn 4, and he's going to have the much better line into the chicane, and he'll keep that place for now. Good defense there from Rizzo, who led for so much of race 2.
Oh, and that's someone around there. That's Benjamin Mears is around, so that's super unfortunate for Mears. I think he came together there with Carl Hardy. Carl Hardy's also going to lose several positions there. He has a slowdown penalty, yes, and he's actually got a lot of damage, and he's off the circuit, and I think that is actually going to be nearly his race over with.
Disappointing for one of the drivers who started quite far up on the grid, top 10, but a long way away from that now. Charles Kellyman having a little bit of side-by-side action there with a couple of the other drivers, but yeah, still Rizzo then leading the way. There is Kellyman right in the thick of the action, car number 67. Has got some pretty good results in that AM category recently. Juran Ursum struggling a little bit out of that corner. And the championship leader already down 4 places. He's really having a struggle day today. Here is Rizzo still leading the way, but under big pressure from the Swift Cooper Esports driver. Second and third, he'll hang on into turn 1 into lap 2.
Look at Jason Cooper's start there. That was a beautiful start there from Jason Cooper, up into 2nd place. We're seeing a lot of drivers starting to slice and dice. Stuart Dick was slow on the front straightaway. He is definitely losing a bit of time there. Jamie Ayres also has a nice start there, up 3 positions. Craig Cameron, though, up 6 spots from his starting position. Luke Cooper, another driver on the charge forward. He's up 10 spots from his starting position. And he's looking now to get by Craig Jones, the AM driver. He's 4th in the AM standings right now is Jones. And Luke Cooper currently sitting at 11th in the pros. Let's see if he's able to make the move now around the outside. Yes, he will. Won't even challenge him into the braking zone, will Craig Jones. He's able to easily slot up. But look at Cooper and Rizzo. Rizzo on the outside, Cooper on the inside. Carstensen looking to go with Cooper. Carstensen not able to go, but Cooper gets himself up into the lead.
Yeah, that's what we expected, and really quick for Jason Cooper. Already won race one, but very rare that we see a driver win multiple races on a single evening. Carstensen under big pressure, but he's going to be able to get the move, in fact, done on Rizzo. Emery was challenging as well. Another really good race for Emery, who's really showing himself to be a very competitive driver this evening. However, he's trying to get into the podium places now. Might even have a chance going into the final chicane. It's going to be an ambitious move if he goes for it side by side through that final chicane. Isn't always wise, and that's
Rizzo's
why,
over.
because he's over. It's Cesar Rizzo, and almost flipping over the pit wall as well. Disappointment for him. He could have won. He led race 2, he led race 3, but he's going to yield very few points from either.
Wow, that was incredible. Ben Sharp, the biggest gainer out of that one, and Kip Stevens also gains a lot from that one as well. All the drivers moving up a few positions there, but Ben Sharp is now your leader in your AMs, and he's up into 4th place. Jason Cooper right now, a really big gain from that. He's up now 1.8 seconds over Steven Baxter. Second, Kip Stevens is going to round out your top 3. That'll be Ben Sharp and Adam Delmont here. Delmont's semi under pressure right now from Stuart Dick, but Luke Cooper and Craig Cameron, they're going to go side by side. Cooper's going to try the outside. We've seen this move work for Cooper in the past. Let's see if it'll work for him this time, and it will. Cooper able to move himself up into 9th place. That's going to demote Craig Cameron down into 10th. Luke Cooper right now is up 16 spots. Don't count him out for a top 5 here at the end of this one.
I don't know how Carstensen got caught up in that whole scrap, but well, he dropped massively down after that crash at the final corner. Also got Hansford then. Apologies, just looking what position this squad, 18th position. Hansford just sitting behind Adrian Hendy. He's got quite secure drives. Hendy up 17 places from his start. Also got side by side between Holmes and Wouter van Essen. Holmes up 24 places. Terrific driving from the 58 Excite iRacing driver. And all spinning off there is Rob Graham for Auto Mech. And taking a very awkward route there round him was car number 22. He was, sorry, no, car number 13, Andy Maxwell. Took a very awkward route round his own teammate. Onto lap 4 now, the front runners go.
There we go. We're just looking here. Right now, it is Jason Cooper with the lead. He currently has a 1.9 second advantage, so Steven Baxter is closing that gap down then on Jason Cooper. Kip Stevens is 9/10 of a second behind Baxter. And you know, the second that Baxter and Cooper start to battle, Stevens is going to be right up in there. Ben Sharp, the leader of your AMs, he's had a good race so far. He's up 7 spots of his starting position. And then there's Adam Delmont in 5th place, not too far behind Sharp, just about 6/10 of a second and closing. And he has Stuart Dick behind him, Nick McCarron, and Mikey Key is in 2nd place of the AMs, and he's leading this second big train here of drivers that go from about 8th and go a long ways down. They have about a 1 second gap between Ayers and Cullinan, but it does go quite a ways down then. And there's someone else around, I believe, or someone losing time.
Yeah, maybe Steve Hansford struggling. He's down 4 places from his starts, and yeah, he was at the front of this pack, I believe, but also really spreading out. Mikey Key with a bit of an issue, I think. Well, he's got overtaken by Luke Cooper, and Key getting a barrage of hits there from Craig Cameron. Get it to Key there, because he kept on the brakes, so he didn't go into the back of Luke Cooper, and fortunately not too much instance there, but that was very aggressive driving, let's say, from Craig Cameron going into the hairpin. We are a little bit further up. Sharp versus Delmont. Sharp holding off that podium place, currently leader, 4th place, currently leader of the AM drivers. Also very close between Cooper and Baxter. A battle that I personally didn't expect too much, Tyler, but Baxter's got some good pace at the moment, and he just went half a second faster than the race leader.
Yeah, he is absolutely in the charge. He's just gone fastest overall right now. He was just about 6/10 of a second faster. And Jason Cooper also set his best time last lap as well, so that just shows the kind of speed that Steven Baxter has here. He's now in draft range, and he will gain a lot of time due to that. So I think that he may be able to get Jason Cooper here really quickly. We know how good Cooper is, though, at defending, so it will be a difficult task to get by him. But we'll see if Steven Baxter is up to it, and Mikey Key's going to lose another position out of Craig Cameron. He'll have to try it around the outside. I don't think that's going to work there for Key. Cameron will be down the inside, and Key will have to back out.
Key, of course, having a terrific race 3, I believe. And having a terrific race 3, starts 15th place, so a really great opportunity for him to gain some points in the championship today. Sharp then under pressure from Delmont. And Cooper's 4.5 seconds behind these guys, so still a while for Cooper to catch up. Change for the lead. There goes Baxter, and you're absolutely right, Cooper with a slowdown, and the championship leader, who looked as though he was sailing to a comfortable race victory here. Looks like he's going to get his 2nd race victory of the evening, which is a very rare occurrence. He's made a mistake, and Steve Baxter starts in 10th place up into the race lead. Terrific job from him.
Mikey Key getting really shuffled down the order here. He's lost a lot of spots here in the last few laps. So he's not had the best of few laps here, has Mikey Key. He's still holding on to 2nd place though in the AM Championship, but he's got his teammate just behind of Ralph Cullinan, who can easily take that from him. And he's up right now. Cullinan is up 9 spots. Key has been dropped so much in these last few laps. Look at this battle here. There it goes, Sharp by Adam Delmont. Sharp is up in the 4th place. Delmont there had a terrible corner. Don't quite know what happened to him.
I think he may have tried been going around the outside into the chicane, trying something a little bit extravagant, but well, safe to say it didn't work for him, and he's down into 7th place now, Delmont, and under pressure from Cooper and Cameron behind as well.
Just cycling through here a bunch of different battles. Mikey Key under pressure from Adam McNally. Adam McNally will slice his way through. McNally's up 21 places. That's a really, really incredible comeback. He's up into 12. So Adam McNally there having a good race. Brian Holmes up 29. So he's moved up a lot of places. I'm just looking at how many places each driver's moved up. Yes, right now he is your biggest mover as far as positions gained here at the start of this race. But Jason Cooper has gone by Steven Baxter, and Cooper will retake the lead here as we head on to 2 laps to go this by.
Also, Sharp dropping a couple of positions, was in 4th place, all of a sudden drops down to 7th. Maybe doing the worst thing there, Ben Sharp not fighting it too hard, and well, he'll still be top of the AM Judge. Looks like he's going to certainly take this one, considering that he's nearly 10 seconds ahead of 2nd place man, Mikey Key. But now these three pro drivers are now probably pull away, so Dick in 4th, McKern 5th, and Delmont in 6th place. Under pressure straight away though is Stuart Dick. Is a half a chance, maybe the 3rd car in line here to make the move. Adam Delmont, he tries to move at that corner on the last lap, didn't work well for him, so he thought better of it. You can see the trust ever so respectful, a little bit like we saw at Charlotte Motor Speedway last week going into the chicane hump. They're just not willing to go side by side, and that's really good to see, good courtesy from the drivers, realising that it's much better just to wait, subdue that battle till the next couple of corners.
Yeah, the drivers really giving each other some respect here in race number 3. They know that they need a good position and not wreck out, so that they will benefit from the reverse grid. Jason Cooper, he doesn't have too long to go, but you've got to think, though, Cooper has to keep in mind that he has Kip Stevens not too far behind it. Has Cooper gotten another slowdown penalty? I think that he has.
Don't know what's going on with Jason Cooper at the moment, really struggling out there. He was so dominant in race 1, remember, came under a bit of pressure, and Stevens takes the lead. Steven Baxter with an issue, another slowdown for him, and now is Cooper going to be able to make the move straight into turn 1? Yes, he has done. So he's got 1 lap, has he, to catch and pass Kip Stevens. Cooper can deliver 1 good lap. He might just have a chance going into the final corner of the lap, but awful couple of corners there for Cooper and Baxter. They're both probably thrown away the race victory. Very close behind with McCarron now up into 4th place, gets ahead of Dick. Delmont gets ahead of Dick as well. Yes, he does so. Ben Sharp, he's going to put his nose down the inside. That's risky. Putting his, it's off the circuit now is McCarron. Keeps it, well, I think he gained a little bit of time by going a long way off the circuit. Comes back on the circuit with a lot of speed and still maintains that 4th position. But
Jamie Ayers is out. Jamie Ayers is out of this race. I think he's dropped out of the server or something. He has dropped a lot of spots. So sorry to cut you off there, but just wanted to point that out. Brian Holmes, that's an impressive comeback. 33 spots up on the 13th, but he's in the thick of the battle right now. For 12th place, he's got to try to get by Mikey Key. He's going to send it down the inside of Mikey Key, and that is Brian Holmes of 34 spots right now and up into 12th place. Let's jump back, though, to your leader. It will be Kip Stevens as he rounds his way. He's only got to survive the final chicane, and he will win race number 3. It is super easy to die here in the final chicane, so hopefully Kip Stevens is able just to keep it under control. Jason Cooper really closing, but it's not going to be enough. Cooper and Stevens side by side. Cooper's going to get to the line first. Stevens has had some issues, and it will be Jason Cooper who will win race number 3. Kip Stevens comes home in 3rd. Steven Baxter in 4th. Nick McCarron will come home in 5th, and Ben Sharp, an amazing 5th place finish for him in the win of the AM drivers.
What a weird race that was. A lot of different changes of positions, a lot of slowdowns seemingly for drivers. And it's Jason Cooper, after all of it, somehow taking a second race victory of the evening, which is a very rare occurrence, taking advantage of that small reverse grid. But how Baxter didn't win that and how Stevens didn't win that, I am not quite sure. Drivers just coming across the line then. Remember, they got to finish either 0 or 1 laps down to be eligible for the reverse grid. We saw a very small reverse grid applied to the finishing results of the last race to make up the starting places of this race. And I'll be interested to see if there's if it's similarly small again. Steve Cooley, well, he's getting some engine cooling there. That was a bad pun. As yeah, Cooley number 87 struggling across the line. Oh, Hardy, well, he's now getting some cooling as well in that car, and a lot of steering damage as well. He's going to struggle to make it to the line. It's going to be pretty close with him and the drivers behind for Hardy. He's got Van Gool approaching. I think Hardy will actually be okay if Van Gool dots, so he will cross the line. Van Gool, I think, will hold off Lance Carstensen after a big crash from Carstensen near the starts of the race. He'll be hoping for a big reverse grid. If that does happen, then he'll be one of the favourites, no doubt, for the final race of the evening race ball, which we believe will be held at night as well. Dave Hampson, approaching line, he'll be the last driver to cross the line, I believe. There he is. 36th position for Hampson, last driver on the lead lap. So the results are in, and Jason Cooper wins out on the run to the line against Kip Stevens, who we think picked up a slowdown right at the end of the race. Steve Baxter finished in 3rd place, and Nick McCann in 4th. Top of the AM drivers was Ben Sharp in 5th. Great result for Sharp. Beating Delmont and Dick on that last lap. Really good driving from Ben. There's Luke Cooper, good recovery from 25th on the grid. Ashley Beard, Craig Cameron rounding up top 10. There's Adam McNally, Brian Holmes, Mikey Key, more good points for him. Rick Conlon, Charles Kellyman, Adrian Hendy, Craig Jones, Billy Rose, Wout Van Essen, Steve Hansford, Juran Ursum, Scott Malcolm, Graham Sesford, Benjamin Mears, Michael Barry, Liam Silkston, Andy Maxwell, Abulkir Al-Amri, James McRitchie, Joe Mitchell, Joe McDonald, Steve Cooley, Carl Hardy, Pete Van Gool, Niles Carson, and David Hampson was the last driver on the lead lap. 1 lap down was Jamie Ayres and Charlie Summers, so those two will be eligible for the reverse grid. And then the retirees were Josh Rayfield, Rob Graham, Martin Plowman, Matthew Emery, Cesar Rizzo, Steve Hefford, Christian Brown, and Max Bohr did not take the start. And so, time for the final reverse grid of the day. We had a big one in race 2, Tyler, and a small one for race 3. Are we going to have something in the middle, perhaps for race 4?
Let's see what we're going to have here for race 4. Let's roll that reverse grid wheel and see what that brings us here this evening. So it rolls around, and it looks like it's going to be a 45-place reverse grid. Yes, it is. It's going to be a 45-place reverse grid here for race number 4 in the final race of the evening. Let's pull up the results and see where that's going to put the drivers.
Yes, I mean, Charlie Summers will be on pole position ahead of Jamie Ayres, so good opportunity for both of them, both very quick drivers. Also, Niles Carstensen as well, starting from 4th place, so a lot of drivers out of position. Dave Hampson as well is a good driver. He might have a chance from 3rd place as well. He had a very good race 2, did Dave Hampson. So really difficult to call. A lot of top drivers in amongst the top positions for that race 4 grid. Are you going to go do some of the replays, Tyler, of that race 3?
Let's do, actually. Let's pick a few replays here to go through. I'm just going to try. Let's see here. Supposedly something's happened to Niels Carstensen, and this would be... Let's see what's happened. He's definitely already had damage. So, let's see what happened to him. If there's just something that terminally made him retire, or if he was actually able to finish. I think he was able to finish, though. So let's see if this just added insult to injury or been some sort of just small issue. Not seeing anything there, so sorry about that. Just have some of the time where our live times count something as a crash, and it's actually not a crash. So it may just be this hairpin, because this is now the second area that it says the drivers have crashed in the hairpin. So I think that is just the main bits. Everything seems to have been pretty clear there in that race. It was a pretty clean race there for the drivers. I think that what happened there to Cooper whenever he lost a bunch of time, if you actually go just that little bit there on the inside of the curb and you just get that little bit too far, it will give you a slowdown down there. So that would be what happened to him, I do believe. But we have just one more commercial break left before we get into race number 4 here of the evening and the final race here from Zolder. We'll see you in just a few minutes.
Assist to the front bumper, and he hits him again now. Ray Alfala into the outside wall.
He's gonna pass nearly 3 cars down that front straightaway, and he's gonna get them all done with. What amazing!
Racely to the inside goes Logan Cloudman is gonna touch in. Pit press, sideways, what a save!
Look to the outside as Trunkgate goes off. De Jong into second place.
Going for the switchback. Oh, pinpoint driving.
It's howling down to the inside.
Trying this contact though.
Slide left of the racetrack. Chris Benner drives it back down underneath, and he takes that second spot right back. Joker goes to Garrett Lowe.
Garrett Lowe should take victory with all that contact. He's going to try and make the move around the upset the parabolica. That's not going to work, but he's going to try and get the cutback here. Get the run out the parabolica. That's beautifully done there. MX5, there's a little bit of door banging as well.
Of the best sim racers, $100,000 on the line. Who will rise to the challenge? This is the most competitive and sought-after season in iRacing World Championship history. This is where legends are made. This is the Porsche Esports Super Cup.
To the front bumper, and he hits him again now. Ray Alfala into the outside wall.
He's gonna pass nearly 3 cars down that front straightaway, and he's gonna get them all done with. What amazing!
Racely to the inside goes Logan Cloudman is gonna touch in. Pit press, sideways, what a save!
Look to the outside as Trunkgate goes off. De Jong into second place.
Going for the switchback. Oh, pinpoint driving.
It's howling down to the inside.
Trying this contact though.
Slide left of the racetrack. Chris Benner drives it back down underneath, and he takes that second spot right back. Joker goes to Garrett Lowe.
Garrett Lowe should take victory with all that contact. He's going to try and make the move around the upset the parabolica. That's not going to work, but he's going to try and get the cutback here. Get the run out the parabolica. That's beautifully done there. MX5, there's a little bit of door banging as well.
iRacing, you wanted the best, you got them 4 abreast. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show under the world of outlaw.
Gotta Gotta love this time of year. Only one can be champion. Let's go playoff racing. I said, hey, there's no surrender. Let 'em hear my battle cry.
40 of the best sim racers, $100,000 on the line. Who will rise to the challenge? This is the most competitive and sought-after season in iRacing World Championship history. This is where legends are made. This is the Porsche Esports Super Cup.
iRacing, you wanted the best, you got them 4 abreast. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show under the world of outlaw.
'Gotta love this time of year. Only one can be champion. Let's go playoff racing. I said, hey, there's no surrender. Let 'em hear my battle cry. 'Assist to the front bumper, and he hits him again now. Ray Alfala into the outside wall.
Gonna pass nearly 3 cars down that front straightaway, and he's gonna get them all done with. What amazing!
Race lead to the inside goes Logan Cloudman is gonna touch in. Pit grass sideways. What a save!
Look to the outside as Trunkgate goes off. De Jong into second place.
Going for the switchback. Oh, pinpoint driving.
It's howling down to the inside.
I trying, there's contact though.
Slide left of the racetrack. Chris Benner drives it back down underneath, and he takes that second spot right back. Joker goes to Garrett Lowe.
Garrett Lowe should take victory with all that contact. He's going to try and make the move around the outside the parabolica. That's not going to work, but he's going to try and get the cut back here. Get the run out the parabolica. That's beautifully done there. Makashibe, there's a little bit of door banging as well.
Forty of the best sim racers, $100,000 on the line. Who will rise to the challenge? This is the most competitive and sought-after season in iRacing World Championship history. This is where legends are made. This is the Porsche Esports Super Cup.
iRacing, you wanted the best, you got them 4 abreast. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show under the world of outlaw.
Gotta love this time of year. Only one can be champion. Let's go playoff racing. I said, hey, hey, oh, oh, hey, hey. There's no surrender. Let 'em hear my battle cry. Assist to the front bumper, and he hits him again now. Ray Alfala into the outside wall.
Gonna pass nearly 3 cars down that front straightaway, and he's gonna get them all done with. What amazing!
Racely to the inside goes Logan Clapton is gonna touch in. Pit press sideways.
saved it!
What a save!
Look to the outside as Cronkite goes off. De Jong into second place.
Going for the switchback. Oh, pinpoint driving.
It's howling down to the inside.
I trying this contact though.
Slide left of the racetrack. Chris Benner drives it back down underneath, and he takes that second spot right back. Joker goes to Garrett Lowe.
Garrett Lowe should take victory with all that contact. He's going to try and make the move around the outside the parabolica. That's not going to work, but he's going to try and get the cutback here. Get the run out the parabolica. That's beautifully done there. MX5, there's a little bit of door banging as well.
.40 of the best sim racers, $100,000 on the line. Who will rise to the challenge? This is the most competitive and sought-after season in iRacing World Championship history. This is where legends are made. This is the Porsche Esports Super Cup.
iRacing, you wanted the best, you got him 4 abreast. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show under the world of outlaw.
Welcome back to the iRacing Esports Network. We're just grading up for race 4 of the BSR MX5 Pro Series presented by Apex Racing TV. Jamie Ayres is on pole position with Dave Hampson in second place. Niles Carlson starts in third with Peter Van Gool in fourth place. Those drivers are the top pro drivers, and there's Carl Hardy, Stephen Cooley, Joe McDonald, Joseph Mitchell, James McCritchie, and Abulkir Al-Amri round out the top 10. BSR just making their way onto the grid as we speak, and we're just a few moments away from starting this race 4. As you can see, it is night. Didn't realise, point that one out. It's Jamie Ayres from the pole then. Race 4, SimLab 1-2. Away we go, and Ayres with a really good start as we've seen the pole sitters get all day long. Hampson trying to maintain that second place. I think he'll be able to against Niles Carlson going into turn 1. So it's still a SimLab 1-2 out in the lead. Peter Van Gool getting ahead of Carlson, who's dropping down the order. An awful turn 1 for Carlson in race 1, and it's another awful turn 1. We've seen a few drivers in fact round. I'll try to go through them at the end of this opening lap, but Max Bohr and Andrew Maxwell were certainly involved in that one as well. Carl Hardy and Joe McDonald also with very poor starts out there. But out in lead is Ayres leading Hampson. Van Gool is in third position. Great start for Michael Barry, up 5 places. Already Brian Holmes up into 15, up 11 places so far.
Yeah, so he's had a nice start there. There was a few drivers around. It was started by Carstensen, who spun around there at the beginning. Then they all get into the chicane, and they're just 4 wide there for just a second, I think. that would definitely not end too well for you. There's one of the drivers around. I'm not quite sure who that was. And we can see a lot of drivers moving up a lot of positions here off the line. And, Jason Cooper up already 10 spots, 9 spots now, as he dives it down the inside of Rob Graham, who's also had an amazing start. So a lot of the drivers now really starting to move up, and that is Billy Rose around. He spun around somewhere. Billy Rose is off and on the inside of the track there. Mr. Al-Amri is getting pushed out just a little bit, and that is Joseph Mitchell able to slot himself up. Dave Hampson, though, leads by 1.1 seconds over Peter Van Gool, who then has a 1.2 second lead back to Jamie Ayers, who leads this train of 4 cars. It's Ayers, McRitchie, Cooley, Mitchell, and Al-Amri. That is your top 7 there, and the 5 cars in that battle. Then they have 3 seconds back to Liam Silkston, and I think that is McElberry. Scott Malcolm is now all the way down Scott Malcolm's actually on the outside, sorry. There's someone getting hit there. It was the number 54 of, number 57, sorry, of Steve Hansford. That optical racing called. Brian Holmes all the way on the inside, and Hansford gets tagged. He's around, Hansford is around. Hopefully he doesn't get hit there by any of the drivers as they all make the way through.
Well, to get your cameras out because it's the same lab 1, 2, 3. No offense to that team, but we don't usually see this as we've had an impact there between one of the Excite Racing drivers. Not sure who that was. Maybe Adam Del. I think it was Adam Delmont. I think it was. Maybe it was another team who got involved in that one. But yeah, Adam Delmont falling down the order, making contact, although not too much damage. I think on that plate, see a little bit of a scrumpled bonnet. But yeah, issues for a few of the drivers down the field. But like I said, a Simlab 1, 2, 3, and some of the Swift Cooper Esports drivers and the Excite iRacing drivers, long way out of position after that big reverse grid we saw in from the race 3 results. Mikey Key in the depths of this, but you can see a terrific train of drivers currently. So you'll swarm their way through halfway around this lap 2 of 8 laps in this final race of the evening. Al-Amri's trying to make up the position. He's had a terrific start, had good pace all day long. In 5th position, just ahead of Steve Cooley, and he'll hold that position for now as well. But you can see he has got a little bit detached from the drivers ahead. Jamie Ayers towed back to the pit, so another awful race for Jamie.
Yeah, Jamie Ayers enters the pit lane. That's so unfortunate for him. That promotes Al-Amri up into 4th place. Steve Cooley will into 5th. There we go. There's Adam McNally making up another spot. We're seeing a battle here. Just trying to get this one. There we go. You can see there Adam McNally on the outside there. Stephen Baxter was on the inside. Baxter now going to look down the inside of Charles Kellyman. He doesn't commit to it, though. McNally will commit to it, and he will go by Stephen Baxter. They are going to be side by side in the exit, but Baxter's run will be hampered there by Charles Kellyman. And that will allow possibly McNally to get by both of them. Kellyman squeezes him hard, but he's not able to do it, and Holmes gets a little bit of a tap there. Or actually, McNally, sorry, gets a little bit of a tap there. Now, Ben Sharp, another driver able to try and move up some positions here. They're going to go 3 wide now through the chicane. That's not going to end well. Sharp gets hit, but he saves it nicely there. And he's now, everyone slots back into line.
Yeah, incredibly close racing there. And they managed to decipher the order after all of it. Also 3 wide into that next chicane as well. I think that's Rob Graham perhaps involved in that one. Off the circuit is Mikey Key. So unfortunate for the race 2 winner. He's had big issues down there, and also Graham Sesford, who I think got caught up in a race in a lap 1 incident as well, getting caught up. But Key, ever so disappointing. Good race 2 5, and a good race 3 actually as well. But since then has not gone his way by any means.
Definitely not. Jason Cooper, though, already up into 18th place. Look at that recovery drive there from Jason Cooper. He's moved up so much, and Al-Amri looking there for a little bit of a move there. Steve Cooley actually was looking for him, sorry. It was Al-Amri who came out on top. Ralph Cullinan, another driver looking to make up some spots. He's made up currently 15 spots from starting position, so he's done an amazing job there. His next on his order is Craig Jones. These drivers have really moved up a lot of spots here. Stephen Baxter, the biggest mover on the racetrack that I'm seeing so far, at 22 spots gained. That is a lot of spots, and keep in mind, we are only 4 laps in.
Yeah, we're very little into this race, not even halfway up until this point. There are plenty of more opportunities for Baxter to make up some more pace to Jazz, who should really won race 3, of course, if it weren't for a mistake on the penultimate lap. Jason Cooper sitting behind currently Charles Cayman, who almost made a move on Ashley Beard. Cooper just with a little bit of a struggling exit there. He could be under pressure going into this next corner. Silkston also having to defend wide for one of the drivers just ahead as well. Scott Malcolm, who's having a terrific run currently in the top 10, had a little bit of a struggling day. In the top 10 currently is Malcolm, and he's doing well to hang on to that place at the moment. Also Delmont making up a position, trying to get past Cesar Rizzo, who's been leading races 2 and 3 a long way from that at the moment. Delmont down the inside into the hairpin and backs out of that one. So the Excite Racing driver struggling to make much progress after that big shunt earlier on.
Yeah, look at this battle right now. This is a big battle. Ben Sharp, he spins it here. Sharp is around, and that is a beautiful J-turn if I've ever seen one. And another driver who's going to gain from this one, it's going to be Jason Cooper. He's going to try to make the move now. He's just going to tuck it behind Kellyman. He's not going to be able to make the move. Beard will send it down the inside of Kellyman. Kellyman is actually going to hold it around the outside. Beard does a nice job to save a big slide there. Does Ashley Beard. And now it is Jason Cooper on the attack once again. He has moved up a lot of spots. I would definitely not count him out for a top 10 finish here at the end if he's able to just kind of have some luck go his way. But right now, it is Dave Hampson who leads over Peter Van and James McRitchie in third. And that is a SimLab 1-2 right now. So that is incredible for SimLab. They had, it's not usual that you have a team 1-2. They had a 1-2-3 going. I'm not quite sure what happened to that, but they have had some pretty good results here. And Ralph Cullinan now making a move here on Craig Jones. Jones, not too much he can do there to defend, so Jones will just slot back in and get in line, and that will be him up into ninth with Ralph Cullinan. That is the number 4.
Yes, so Cullinan 6 seconds behind the next driver of Brian Holmes, so not going to be making much of an impact there. As we see side by side, Baxter continuing to make some moves. Malcolm drops outside the top 10 for the first time in fact, actually back inside in 16th place. So after a terrific start for Malcolm, drops out of the top 10 since lap 1. So disappointing a little bit for him, but could still be some good points for one of the front runners in the AM Championship. Of course, is Malcolm has won this championship in the past. You can see a long queue of drivers currently all circulating around the final chicane. A little bit slow for one of the drivers there. It may be Michael Barry, but yeah, either way, out in the front, still Hampson. Nearly 2 seconds ahead of Pete Van Gool. McRitchie can't quite get that move currently, and what Van Gool is doing is a good defensive job for his team. It looks as though a SimLab driver is going to win as McNally falls off the circuit, trying to get past Malcolm. This is the battle for 11th and 12th places. And now it's going to be brave to go around the outside there, because Malcolm probably has every right just to shove him off the circuit, but stays nice and tight as the Scotsman. And yeah, was very generous there of his rival. Ashley Beard also going ahead of Liam Silkson. You've got Barry, Kellyman, Cooper as well, all involved in this fight. Jason Cooper, the fastest probably out of these guys, but at the moment at the tail of this one, going to try to get past one move. This will be Charles Kellyman around the outside as the inside for the chicane though, but Cooper a little bit hesitant of some of these moves, a little bit more forceful of that one, and just about without contact makes that move.
Yeah, I think that Jason Cooper hasn't been racing around these drivers. He doesn't know how they're going to react to him around him, so he does have to be a little bit more conservative. He doesn't want to get taken out. He knows that he needs to finish every one of these races to have a good points haul to be able to extend his lead in the championship. So he definitely needs to extend it. I think that he's doing a good job of that right now, keeping it clean and getting himself most points possible. Rob Graham, another driver, he's moving up. He's currently 10th. He's right in the thick of this battle. He's down the inside of Mark Plowman as they head into the fast chicane. Plowman seemed to have some issues here. He's had the issues all the way through race 1, 2, and 3. He's really starting to make advancement now. He's up 17 spots. 22nd to 23rd. Craig Jones, though, is going to go by Steven Baxter. Steven Baxter is also going to get by, I believe that is Craig Jones, just going by Ralph Cullinan. Ended up getting by Baxter there. Baxter is your biggest mover right now, up 26 spots for 5th in the pro standings and 9th overall right now. Just as we were saying, Dave Hampson still leading by 2.1 seconds over Peter Van Gool. James McRitchie is in 3rd. And I think that was a mistake there from Van Gool, and that's exactly what McRitchie needed. McRitchie now looking down the inside, trying to make the move through the right-hander. He gets squeezed, but he will not be able to make that move stick. And now Ralph Cullinan also looking for a move here on Steven Baxter. Baxter's made the move on Cullinan, and now Cullinan, trying to make the move back on Baxter.
Yep, Cullinan currently 4th out of the club drivers. McRitchie now 0.2 of a second behind Van Gool. By the way, that's the battle for 2nd place. Cullinan go for a move on Baxter here. I think Baxter should be able to pull away. I imagine Vic Cullinan, a very experienced driver, of course, in the BSR leagues, will probably realise that for result of clothing and just stay behind, try to keep up with his rival, get dragged up to the drivers behind. And Van Gool just keeps on defending. They lost 1.5 seconds to the race leader on that last lap, so Hampson is well on course for a race victory here, as Cooper getting some nice momentum coming out of that corner, just building up the speed, and now to the inside of Scott Malcolm is for 13th place, and Malcolm is going to go off into the wall, and that was Liam Silkston giving him a tap, and I think Silkston was almost certainly feeling very guilty there after that one, just misjudging where the driver would brake there, and into the back of him as McRitchie almost spinning around the car now. So these two absolutely fighting one another, and it's allowing Abulkir Al-Amri as well to catch up in 4th place.
Yeah, but it is the final lap of the race, so it is going to be a little bit too late there for Mr. Al-Amri. And that's someone else off into the wall. It's Ralph Cullinan. Cullinan is off and into the wall. I think he just has escaped that one, though, with barely any damage, luckily for him. Peter Van Gool is really defending here from James McRitchie. He's going to have to make a move here through the final fast chicane if he wants a chance at it. Is McRitchie. If he just shows Van Gool the nose, that I think Van Gool is going to have to give it to him, as it's really hard to go side by side through there. I don't think that's going to be happening. Yeah, I don't think Van Gool's got it, but Hampson is going to cross the line here in race 4 to win in race number 4. Nice job from Dave Hampson to win this race. Peter Van Gool will come up 2nd and make it a sim lap 1-2. James McRitchie 3rd. Al-Amri in 4th. Steve Gooley will be 5th. Ryan Holmes in 6th. Joseph Mitchell in 7th. Stephen Baxter in 8th. Adam McNally in 9th. Craig Jones will round out your top 10 with Ashley Beard very close behind there. Those are 3 actually very, very close drivers. There are 25 places here for Jason Cooper to come home in 12th. Ralph Cullinan will be in 13th. Mark Plowman with a nice result there, up 26 spots. 28 spots up with Steve Hefford. Really, really nice shot from him to move up in the 15th place. Rob Graham will be 16th. Kip Stevens 17th. Steve Hansford in 18th. Graham Sessford, that would be your top 20 drivers here.
Yeah, just the rest of the drivers coming through. Mikey Key a little bit distant. He had a spin midway through, I believe, lap 3, which cost him quite significantly. So decent day for Key. Remember, 1 race turn. I think that might be his first ever win in this series as well. Of course, congratulations to Dave Hampson as well for winning race 4. And the Maxwell yet to cross the line. Remember, as long as these drivers finish 0 or 1 laps down, they do score points, which is ever so important, because the difference between getting, say, 40th position and getting and not finishing, getting no points, is quite a difference in the championship. So still quite important for these drivers to cross the line. There is Maxwell. He was the last driver to cross the line. And you can see we are right in the depths of the night now. It's 9:53 in Sim on the 15th of May. So you can see, yeah, getting pretty dark here in the Belgian countryside. So the results of race 4: David Hampson wins out 2.8 seconds ahead of Pete Van Gool's rather comfortable in the end. Van Gool having a terrific battle with James McRitchie for second place. There's Abulkir Al Amri, top of the AM drivers in fourth. Steve Cooley, a very impressive fifth. There's Brian Holmes, Joe Mitchell, Steve Baxter up 27 places, Adam McNally and Craig Jones. There's Ashley Beard, Jason Cooper up 25 places, Rafe Collin, Martin Plowman, Steve Hefford, Rob Graham, Kip Stevens, Steve Hansford, Christian Brown, Graham Sesford running out the top 20, and then it was Craig Cameron, Nick McCann, Luke Cooper, Scott Malcolm, Jeroen Ursum, Jamie Ayres, Adrian Hendy, Mikey Key, Andy Maxwell, and then one lap down were Liam Silkson, Michael Barry, Charles Kellyman, Wout van Essen, Max Bohr. So all those drivers will score points. But then the retirees, and there were quite a few of them, were Ben Sharp, Cesar Rizzo, Adam Delmont, Josh Rayfield, Matthew Emery, Stuart Dick, Billy Rose, Ben Mears, Joe McDonald, Niles Carstensen, and Carl Hardy. 45 drivers took the start, and that is all 45 of them, and that is well, the last results of the evening. Hopefully we'll get some interviews with some of the drivers. At the moment, unfortunately, we don't have any, so I'm going to frantically look to see where the next round of the championship is. And of course, we leave Belgium, I assume, for the next round of the championship.
I believe we head to Mid-Ohio.
Aha. Pretty good MX5 circuit once again, I'd say, Tyler. Kind of tight, twisty. I call it the oh, sorry, no, we don't go there. In fact, it's Nürburgring 24 hours. We were discussing this earlier on, weren't we, Tyler?
Oh, we
We're going
were.
to the Nürburgring, the Nordschleife circuits, and that's going to be a different affair, let's say. Yeah, who knows what's going to happen around that circuit?
That one right there is an absolute wild card. Anything can happen. Let's look at what happened again, though, here to Scott Malcolm. Let me try to cue this replay up. I think we can just miss this incident. Just have to try to find him here in the list, the long, long list of drivers here that took race tonight. So quite a bit of drivers here to file through. And as soon as I can get this up for you, we will show that replay.
Yeah, of course, Malcolm just getting the tap from behind going into turn one was a great disappointment for him after having a really good run at it earlier on. And it was Liam Silkson just behind him. There's Silkson in the yellow car, who was being overtaken by Jason Cooper and Silkson. Yeah. I mean, I don't think the stewards will think too kindly of that one. But it's so disappointing for Scott Malcolm.
Yeah, that is just such a disappointing result there. Yeah, I kind of, you know, it's kind of a racing incident. You know, they're both going for the same piece of road, and you know that never works out for us. So, no drivers currently in the interview room. So I think that that is pretty much going to be it, unless any of the drivers need the invite to the Discord.
Yes, I think that's pretty much it for this evening's action. Of course, we will be back next week, and you do not want to miss it. Nürburgring, the full one, that's the GP and the Nordschleife molded together, and it should be a terrific amount of action around that circuit. Hopefully, you will not miss it. Of course, subscribe to the iRacing Esports Network as well. Plenty of other terrific series on the iRacing Esports Network in a range of categories, GTs and off-road, of course, World of Outlaws, and all sorts of series available on the iRacing Esports Network. And also, if you wouldn't mind, please visit our own channel, Apex Racing TV, for more very similar broadcasts to this, several other BSR leagues we cover. And so if you like this one, do check out the Apex Racing TV YouTube channel, Facebook page, and also Twitch channel as well. But for now, from me and from Tyler, we're going to say goodbye, and we'll see you next time.